channel?
All right, y'all. We have first of all, our apologies. We've been starving y'all to death of another LTF episode, and I'm gonna blame it on. Well, it's really myself and Thrift's fault.
It's both of our faults.
Yeah, it's 100% both of our faults.
Yeah,
thoughts and
well,
faults.
it's not really our faults because we've got to have something to talk about on the show, and if we don't go to events, we don't have content. So,
Well, here's the thing about that. We've had how many events have we had since the last episode?
at least like 4.
Yeah, so here's the thing. We're going to get right to the gist of it. All right. First of all, as y'all know, Let's Talk Fish is presented by English Choice Marine. They have 3 locations, Martinsville, Virginia, Lexington, North Carolina, and Spindale, North Carolina. They've got a full inventory, a few left over, 23 models, got some 24s probably rolling in about as we speak, if not very soon. Ranger, Triton, White River Marine Dealer, Nitro, they'll get you hooked up. Y'all go by and see them if you're in the market for a new boat. They also have unbelievable tackle selection. We've talked about this before. In-house at all the locations now. They have really nice tackle stores. Martinsville kind of being the...
And they get some hard to find stuff.
Yes.
Like I actually just had them ship me some stuff last week.
Yeah, every tournament, well, we're all guilty of this. Every tournament we end up placing tackle orders. And ACM Tackle's kind of been one of my go-tos lately. Obviously, Tackle Warehouse, they have a huge inventory. But acmtackle.com, check them out. They have a lot of really, really cool items. A few of you that are listeners and regular viewers of the show, I'm sure you've already checked them out online. But if you haven't, take the time out. Check out ACM Tackle, a lot of really cool items. All right, next, we have a trivia giveaway tonight. If you saw it posted on our Facebook page earlier, or I did a little Instagram video. Thrift did an unbelievable video where he looks like some kind of gangster thug, something.
Y'all didn't know I was a thug, did you?
Well, you look like, what Ott say? He said some kind of,
I don't remember.
Are you going to be a DJ?
I thought I pulled
tonight?
off the flat bill very well.
I think you were definitely a thug in your last
I
life.
think I pulled it off very well. So if you haven't seen it, it's on my Instagram account. Just promoting the show tonight and our giveaway from Costa, which I'll let Matt elaborate a little bit on that.
Well, so, in Thrift Defense, he was promoting Costa's new launch of the King Tide. If you have not seen the King Tide, go on Costa's website, check it out. But what we're giving away, the King Tide was also the iCast champion this year.
Yes.
Most
comfortable frames I've ever wore.
Yeah,
it really is.
Removable side pieces to stop that nasty glare. Built for fishermen, by fishermen. They're phenomenal sunglasses. Y'all check them out. So on top of that, the giveaway tonight, if you don't already know, it is a $300 gift code for CostaDelMar.com. You can pick out anything you want, from apparel to sunglasses, anything, up to $300 value. So that's what we're giving away at the end of the show for the trivia giveaway tonight. We got a really good question, and we also have a special guest.
We do have a special guest.
Yeah, I don't know if he's special, but...
He's very special.
Oh, well, okay, so you've seen him before, but he's back in color, Mr. Bryan New.
Yay, New is back in the house.
And I've got to mention, congratulations, Bryan. He just got back in time from St. Clair, coming off a great finish, by the way. Where'd you end up there?
Nah, top 20. I don't know.
Top 20.
It didn't matter.
Kind of a blessing in disguise, because he did tell me he was running like 120 in that Tundra coming home from St. Clair.
Yeah, and that's what he told me. He told me, he's like, I beat my GPS by like an hour, and I didn't even get a ticket.
So
that's true. It was like 42 minutes.
Hey, this is a testament. We was talking about the fuel mileage on that Tundra earlier, and he said, Matt, I'm not gonna lie, I was running like between 85 and 100 pretty much all the way home.
I was. God's honest truth.
Hopefully your insurance company isn't listening right now. But you were getting right at 12 miles a gallon, running hot too with a heavy load.
I mean, he's got a good reason. You don't want to miss the birth of your child.
Correct.
So, and everybody I talked to was all concerned. My mom, Brittany, everybody's like, hey, you pull over, you get tired, pull over and sleep. It's like, this is the birth of my son, my firstborn child that I created, I helped make. And if I was to pull over and stop and take a nap I missed it, I wouldn't have been okay with it. So I did everything in my power to make sure I was there.
And I talked to him before he left that night. I was at Saginaw Bay practicing, and I told him, I was like, no, it doesn't matter if it's 2 in the morning, you get sleepy, call me. I'll sit up and talk to you. So he was all good.
All right, so
I got a question though. So you used to be a thug, but were you a bone thug?
I did like some Bone Thugs.
Yeah, well, so after I I call all my buddies.
Like the Bone Thugs and Harmony.
I call all my buddies on the road trip until it gets late, and then I just blare some music and blare some Bone Thugs and Harmony.
There you go. There you go.
Real quick, New, congratulations again. But
New and Brittany.
look, and Brittany.
New
sorry.
and Brittany, because she's got to put up with New as well.
She's the real hero. For
Yes.
The reason that Thrift just mentioned.
Yeah.
And the fact that she had to go through the real work. And she's the one having to get up and feed the baby through the night. He came to the house today, and Emily got home about the same time, and she said, "Congratulations, New. How's first question everybody asks, like new parents, like
Yeah, how's the baby
sleeping?"
sleep?
Like, "Yeah, I'm sleeping great." And he's like, "Well, Brittany's breastfeeding," and Emily's like, "Oh, well, no wonder you're sleeping great.
Yeah,
You don't have to get up and do anything." So,
I mean, like the first 3 or 4, he's only 8 days old now, so the first 3 or 4 nights, I woke up and we were kind of in between like whatever formula and booby, and but now we're kind of straight on breastfeeding, and there's not really much I can do.
No, there's not. I mean, you could get up and make your wife maybe bring her a bottle of water.
I guess I
Something
could,
like
but
that.
she
You
has
could rub her feet. You could do something.
If I wake up and she asks, or if I wake up, I will. Period.
There you go.
She's
There you
definitely
go.
the rock star of the family, though.
Well, congratulations. News got a big milestone in his life. Just got a new house too.
Yeah.
New house, new baby.
We got a lot of changes
You
this
got a lot
year.
of changes going on. But everything's going good. Everything's going positive. So that's the
It
main
is.
thing.
It is at this point. The year didn't start out that way, but we turned it around.
so Ryan, 100%. There is this thing in professional fishing called new baby luck, and I think
That's a fact.
Everybody
experienced.
says it, but we'll see how true it is.
Well, look, dude, you've been climbing that. Look, you said it yourself. New's on a tear lately because if anybody has followed the Elite Series this year and followed New's career this year, he started off, in a bad spot.
Yeah.
And
So what were you, like 90-something place in
So
points?
3
after?
tournaments ago, I was 101st out of 104 anglers.
And he's climbed all the way up to 60th place. He
Right.
has
He's got a classic chance.
a legitimate shot at making
Yes.
a classic after climbing out of a hole from almost being dead last in points. And I don't know, like I remember Anthony Gagliardi went on a run one year where he missed a tournament or got DQ'd or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Something crazy happened, and he made the Forest Wood Cup
and won it.
and won it. That's
Maybe
right.
that's your
Yeah,
destiny.
That's
man.
right.
You
So,
got to make
so.
a classic and win it.
that new baby luck is definitely already rubbing off, and hopefully it carries through to the next 2 events. But again, congratulations. Glad everybody's healthy, and you can do something right after all. Dude.
Well, hey, if they always say practice makes perfect, so I'm pretty sure I got a perfect boy.
There you go.
All right, we got so much to talk about. We'll jump right into a couple different things real quick. Well, we're gonna jump in one at a time. But first off, let's talk about. I don't want to go back multiple tournaments. We'll talk about the 2 most recent events. Thrift coming off a hot top 10 at the
Saginaw.
Saginaw Bay.
Bay.
Thank you. I almost said St. Clair because that's where we were.
Oh, I get so
y'all
confused.
were
I don't
St.
even know
Clair
where I was
first.
last
Let's
week.
jump on that
Okay.
one first.
It all starts with an S. So,
Yes.
St. Clair, New said earlier, if you ain't scoping, you're hoping. If you go to St. Clair at this point, I'm going to sit here and say, look, you don't have to have forward-facing sonar to catch smallmouth at St. Clair. It's chock full of them. But you want forward-facing sonar before you go to St. Clair. And here's why. And New, you can back me up on this. It's a big old round bowl like this table. Well, this table's not perfectly round, but it's close. And it's very featureless, okay? It's very flat, like a big contour change there's like a foot, 2 foot.
Oh, yeah, like 6 inches.
Yeah, 6 inches. So
And then it's the 6-inch drop will be like over a half a mile.
correct. Yeah. So you get to the middle of the lake, it's 20 feet deep. You go to the bank and you come 100 yards off the bank and it's 10 feet deep. So if
Right.
that tells you anything. And it's a pretty big lake. So, basically, and I'm going to say unfortunately, and I hate saying that, this tournament definitely was dominated by forward-facing sonar, and I hope the fans, got to enjoy it. It's fun. I'm not gonna lie. It's fun going up there and zooming around with my active target 2 and seeing a fish throwing at it and catching it. Okay, it's fun. Don't get me wrong. But if you watched and followed the event, you got to see a lot of really nice bags of smallmouth caught. And our next 2 events will be no different. But the forward-facing sonar was definitely the dominant and common theme of that tournament. I don't know anybody that was successful in that event, even in the top 50.
So Hackney said he was fishing, but maybe he wasn't.
Well,
I don't know.
yeah.
He says he was doing both. He was fishing while he was scoping.
Sure.
Or
Well, I was
active
too.
target.
Yeah. If you see one, you're going to throw at it, obviously.
Yep.
But to me, now he made top 10 and I didn't. To me, you got to do one or the other. It's so hard to do both. It's because you can't be 100% at scoping if you're fishing at the same time.
Well, and I saw guys doing both now. Now, here's the thing. So here's the interesting thing that I saw. I heard somebody mention this on live. I was driving back on day 4 and I was watching some of the live and listening to the guys. And these fish are, and we've talked about this before, they're already becoming educated on this forward-facing sonar. And I had my active target 2 set at 100 foot just because with the drop shot in my hand, that was a good cast.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And 100 foot, when I saw a fish, I can make a long cast to it. I could get him to bite. If I'm looking around, with my ghost and I see one and he's 40 feet away, by the time I see him and I pitch to him, I couldn't get a lot of those fish to bite. I couldn't get a lot of those fish to commit to anything. They'd run off, they'd move, they'd change direction, whatever. I would get to where the wind would push me to where I wasn't making a lot of racket, and I'd literally just turn my trolling motor and not propel myself forward, and I would go slower. Then sometimes I'd turn it up. If it was dead calm, I'd turn it up on 80 or 90 and just fly down the lake and look for them. So it seemed like once you got past that 50-foot range, though, a lot of those fish would bite a lot easier than the ones inside 50 foot. Yeah. And I heard several guys say that, when we were there.
And one thing I noticed, I did watch a little bit of the live, and what I noticed is something that's cool that not a lot of people have mentioned yet is everybody wants to bash on the forward-facing sonar, and
I'm part of that group.
Well, but now you're starting to see an evolution of the anglers that are utilizing it with different techniques to get those fish
100%,
to bite. And that's
100%.
something I picked up on at the St. Clair event, even when just the Saginaw event. You start seeing unique baits presented in a unique way to get those pressured fish to bite. Because from what I saw with y'all at St. Clair, there were 40 to 50 boats right there in a little 2 or 3 square mile section of Anchor Bay.
Yeah, there was a lot of guys
and
in
by
Anchor
the
Bay.
4th day, pretty much every bass in that zone seen a bait of some sort.
Absolutely.
And to see that evolution of baits and anglers changing and switching up tactics to try to get those fish to bite something they've never seen before, it's just kind of plays on the same thing we've all known and we've all done for years, especially ledge fishing. If you can show those fish something different that they're not used to seeing, usually they'll jump on it until they get accustomed to it.
I'll confess, I'm not going to say what it was on this show. I'm not going to do it. Otherwise, I wouldn't even say this. But I actually broke out a bait that I had never used, and it was 2 inches long at St. Clair on day 3 to get some bites. New already knows what it is because he saw him laying in my boat.
Yeah.
But it was a little 2-inch bait.
It.
But here's the thing. I'll give you a hint. So it smells very unique, unlike a lot of other things in the industry. And if you look at Taku and Koya and some of the really, really good finesse Japanese anglers that we have on the Elite Series, and how much emphasis they put on their scent in their baits, and Japanese anglers in general and manufacturers, when they build soft plastics, they smell different than our soft plastics over here.
100%.
It's not the typical garlics or the shad.
No.
It's like
They use a lot of shrimp powder,
squid, shrimp.
squid.
I mean, I swear the bait I've got smells like dog food, but other people say otherwise. But anyway, that being said, to Thrift's point, myself along with several other guys, we're having to make lots of bait rotations in order to get some of these fish to bite.
So you're seeing the evolution of the forward-facing sonar.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I view it kind of like the Alabama rig. When it first came out, everybody thought it was going to be the death of bass fishing. And you can kind of see where, yes, it's still a useful tool in certain situations. And I think that's what we're going to continue to see develop with the forward-facing sonar as the years go on. 5 years from now, it may not be as big a player all the time as it is right now. When those same fish start getting pressured, they're gonna adapt and change just like they do with every other bait in every other situation. Mm-hmm. They're not gonna sit there and just keep getting their teeth kicked in.
And Scott Martin, my roommate, he had he was that guy that showed up and had 3 transducers on his trolling motor, and one of them was about this big, and it was that Garmin one that I think they use in saltwater.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm like, he could see a Ned rig or something like that out there at 200 foot.
Oh my God.
And he said it would show up like a caterpillar on his screen.
Oh my
He said
God.
it was huge. He said, but the problem was I couldn't throw it that far. You know, he's like, but I could see it if I could get it out there that far, because as far as I could cast that thing, I could see it. And I'm not telling you secrets, everybody's using, every advantage they can get now with forward-facing sonar. But the way he had his deal set up was pretty cool, It was interesting. But to your point, like everybody's trying to take it to the next level and figure out the little, the little niches about forward-facing sonar and what we can do to gain an advantage over our competitors as far as different bait selections, different transducer setups, different things like that.
Right.
Like a forward-facing sonar transducer is not a cure-all. Like people around here, like I gotta have it. But you don't have to have it. First of all, there's guys that still fish shallow everywhere they go, and they're very successful.
Yeah, I mean, you look at what John Cox does. I mean,
yeah,
it's
100%.
There's a lot of people that don't
Yep.
that aren't strictly forward-facing sonar guys. I mean, I've got the Humminbird Mega Live, and I use it in situations where I need to. But a lot of times, I'm still utilizing that Humminbird Mega 360 more than I am the Live.
Yep. Fred, to your point, he said, be nice and more podcasts would talk about people like Cox, Poche, Keith Carson, from a financial standpoint. But those boats, Fred, contrary to popular belief, a lot of the boats those guys fish out of are $80,000, $90,000.
Yeah, they're still
really,
tricked out.
They're aluminum, but they're really, really expensive. Yeah. And the cost of materials and things, the way it's gone up over the years, they're not a $120,000 Ranger per se, but they're not far from it. So those are not cheap boats, so to speak. But to your point, the boat doesn't make the fisherman. They can still compete at a very high level in an aluminum or a fiberglass or whatever. There's certain standards those boats have to meet per bass rules or MLF rules. You can't show up in a 12-foot John boat with a cooler for your live well
and a tiller steer, 25 horsepower.
So there are limitations on that. But real quick, I mean, I ended up 50th at St. Clair, which I'm not going to complain. A top 50 is a top 50, but I wanted to gain a few AOI points on day 3. I was unable to do that. I wasn't able to. I had been catching most of my wayfish over in Canada, and it was super rough that day. I made a decision to stay closer, and it was obviously the wrong decision. But majority of my fish were caught on a drop shot throughout the week. I caught a few fish on a Ned rig and things like that. But I think all my wayfish came on drop shot on a variety of baits because we had to. We had to rotate baits to catch them. But I know you primarily threw a drop shot.
Yeah.
Did you primarily fish the U.S. side?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I ever went to Canada in the tournament. Like, I started out on the lake the first day and on the best school that I thought I had, and man, it was terrible for me.
Did you catch a bunch of fish?
No, I really didn't. Now, it wasn't rough, but it dang sure wasn't calm that day.
Which day?
The first day. It was just, it made it hard.
Should have been in a Ranger, man. I thought it was pretty nice out there.
Yeah, they all troll the same. They all troll the same. But no, so at 1:30, I had run through 3 or 4 schools that I had, and I had like 14 pounds.
Yeah.
And
that's like not having a limit at St. Clair.
That's like zeroing.
Yeah.
I think last place was 15 pounds the first day. It was somewhere right around there.
It's amazing how good that place is.
That was crazy.
It is ridiculous.
But no, I got in anchor. I checked in at 4 that day. I got in Anchor Bay at 1:30 or 2 o'clock, and I caught 20 pounds. I really wasn't even dialed. And immediately, obviously, I don't even think about going to the lake the second day. I started in Anchor, and I've been fishing maybe 2 minutes, and I caught a 4.7. And in an hour, I had at least 20. And at that point, I knew I had to check. I called Brittany to check on her. You need me to come on? Daddy's son done his job. I got 10 G's. You need me to come home? And I'm going to tell you what, I've fished a lot of days in my life, a lot of places. I've never had more fun fishing than I did that day.
Yeah.
It was so incredible. And kind of back up a little bit. I'm not trying to backstep, but I'm not a lover of the forward-facing deal. I don't like it, but I agree it is evolving. Techniques are evolving with it. It's getting tougher, but it just doesn't. Me personally, it doesn't feel like fishing. And I even said it a bunch when we were up there. I said, I'm not fishing, I'm scoping.
Yeah.
But and it's just a different technique that we add to our arsenal, right?
But honestly, it's no different than burning down the bank looking for cruisers.
Right. So and to your point, the evolution of it, like what Ryan was talking about earlier, what's so cool about what's happening now is I think our initial complaint revolved around not being able to separate yourself, right? Not being able to find a way to outfish the other guy who has the same electronics I do. Mm-hmm. That's the complaint I hear locally more than anything. He's got this and I don't have it. Yeah. Well, if you both have it, look, some of these guys are like magicians with the forward-facing sonar, and it has a lot to do with stealth. It has a lot to do with bait It has a lot to do with presentation. It has a lot to do with cadences. It has a lot to do with, your angle. It has a lot to do with a lot of different things. So there are ways to separate yourself. And, I had somebody make a comment to me after St. Clair, like, was it not just sheer luck on who won that tournament? I'm like, no. I said, because here's the thing. You put, 55 NBA players on a basketball court, and the only thing that separates them is natural talent, ability, and skill, right?
Right.
Same thing with all of us.
Controlled environment. We're not in a controlled environment.
Yeah.
So you've got too many variables to ever play it as sheer luck. I mean, you look at Joey, like what he did to win the event. He had a group of fish all to himself, and he was utilizing the forward-facing sonar a lot. But I guarantee you, with that same group of fish, he could have won the tournament without it.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
he could. So like one trick though, like I said, I'm not a lover of it, but I had 2 live scopes on my boat when I went up there, and I'm going to have them the rest of the year.
You needed them.
And so Geiger Tech makes this mount. I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's a mount that it's actually made for the Mega 360, but it's got a shaft on it. And I put a live scope transducer on it. I mount it right beside my driver's seat on my Falcon. And whenever I start idling, I'm using it. I found probably 4 schools in practice. Actually, the school that I started on, I found with it.
Yeah.
And, it's part of our job now. It doesn't matter if you like it or not. You've got to do it.
You got to figure out how to work it into your rotation.
Yep.
Like you got to know when it's right and when it fits what you need to do.
No matter what you're doing in life, you want to figure out how to make your job easier, the task easier, how to get better at the task, and that's all it is.
Yeah,
But to back up to what you were saying, like, you see them within 40 feet, they were a lot harder to catch. So I was literally, I'd put my trolling motor on 100. It never went off of 100 the entire tournament. And I mean, 2.8 miles an hour, wide open for 8-9 hours. And when I would see a fish, I got the power pole drift paddles on my power poles. I'd see a fish, I'd hit my poles down. It would, obviously it doesn't stop you, but it throws you forward.
Well,
it
in calmer
slows you down
conditions
so
too, it'll
much.
lay you down quickly,
And it virtually does stop you. And then I would be able to zone in on that fish better and
Right.
hit it every time. And I know that I caught a lot of fish that I wouldn't have caught if I wasn't using the drift paddles.
Right.
Yep. All that comes into play when you're in a tournament with a bunch of guys that are really, really good anglers and they all have the same equipment. It's little bitty details like that.
And how you use the equipment.
Yeah,
and the decisions you
because
make
if you catch
with it.
one more than I did that day, you could potentially have 20 and me 18. And that's like, okay, so everybody's talking about the luck factor. The one thing that I'll agree with some of the people that were watching this event, and I've had them make this comment to me, is that, okay, Thrift's over here scoping and he catches 45 fish, and I'm over here, running my active target and I catch 45 fish. He catches 2 5 1/4s and I catch a bunch of 4s.
Right.
You still put yourself in that position, though.
Well, yes and no. Yes and no. Because St. Clair, I'm just talking St. Clair.
Yeah.
Just St. Clair, strictly St. Clair. There were areas where there was
Bigger
better
fish.
than average fish.
Yeah.
But there was also 30 boats in that area, and 15 of them made the cut and 15 didn't.
Right.
And it was simply because some of them ran across one that was a 1/4 pound bigger.
But also, I don't know if you've seen it. Well, you said you were in Canada, so did you fish an anchor at all?
On day 3, I started in there because it was so windy, and I realized how many of our top 10 guys were in there.
Yeah.
I caught 15 pounds in like 45 minutes and left.
Yeah.
And got out and battled the waves the rest of the day for call up to 16 and a half.
So see,
Baby.
I'm just now starting to understand the smallmouth fishing in general. I've always been a co-angler until 2 years ago. I've only fished a couple smallmouth tournaments, but it's definitely different than largemouth, but it's somewhat the same, kinda, but not really. It's kind of like the crawfish stripes, Thrift. But
Crawfish what?
inside joke.
Well,
Crawfish
this is
stripes.
not. We're on LPF.
So
I mean,
the fish moved, and it come to decision making and understanding to move with them and not just stay where they were.
Right.
yeah.
But the thing about St.
Because
Clair,
you could see the groups. There was 2 major groups of boats in there. Obviously, the biggest schools in there.
Yeah.
But there were definitely other places. See, I had a place that I fished the first 2 days that me, Brian Schmidt, and John Cruz were the only 3 people that fished it the first 2 days. Well, the 3rd day, one of the major groups had moved to that, and like 6.
So the fleet
A
came out
lot
there.
of boats were there.
The fleet came with it.
Now, I did for the hour and a half I was in there on day 3, roughly hour and a half. I might have been in there 2 hours. I actually picked up a jerkbait just because everybody was
Right,
in there
just
for it.
to do something
And I
different.
caught them, but they were all 3-pounders.
Yeah.
So I watched a lot of the guys, moving around in there. And there were zones. Obviously, there were zones that were hotter than others, but there were big zones. Like, they weren't little bitty zones. They were big zones. Like, I was literally 3. Like, I didn't want to interfere with somebody in the top 5 after I made the cut to day 3. So I stopped on some waypoints that I had where I found some fish in practice on my way into coming back to the ramp one day. And I didn't catch no big ones. I caught a couple 3-pounders, and I was like, maybe there's some 4s in here, So I put my trolling motor down, start throwing a jerkbait. I catch 1 or 2. And next thing I know, I look up, and like literally from 300 or 400 yards away, Koya, one of the Japanese anglers, coming straight at me, and he's coming hot, like fast, and he's coming, but he never looks up, and he's coming in and doing his.
He didn't even know he was coming at you.
No, he
because
didn't.
I've done the same
That's what I'm
thing
saying.
a
I
lot.
didn't know he was coming at me, and I'm like, I had just like put one in the live well, and I've got this little chip on my shoulder, going, that son of a gun saw me catch one, he's coming straight at, But no, he didn't.
He ain't paying you no attention.
No, he ain't paying me no attention, and he's staring at them 16 graphs he's got on the front of his boat. But long story short. A lot of the guys, were covering a lot more water than you realize what they were covering, and I did that on day 1 and day 2 when it was a little calmer. I covered water really, really, really fast.
Yeah.
On day 2.
That's the evolution of the tactics you have to do with the forward-facing sonar.
Well, see, think about this. Everybody talks about forward-facing sonar. That's the technology now. Well, the batteries are a big deal. You go back up 5-10 years, you don't do what you won't do what I did.
You're not
up there.
capable of doing it.
I've got
Right.
2 36-volt lithium pro batteries paralleled in my boat, and I mean, you put it on 100 for 8 hours, and buddy, you're not making it if you don't have the right technology.
We need to jump into the BPT on Saginaw.
I got a funny one though for you, real quick. Real quick.
Please.
So you talking about
You
you
just says he's got something funny. This is a must hear.
So
Because there's no telling where this is going to go.
you talk about Koya's just looking down, and you look up, and he's beelining towards you.
Throwing shrimp at you and stuff. Crabs and shrimp. throwing shrimp and crabs at you.
At Oahe last
And
year.
fuzzy dice.
And fuzzy die.
At Oahe last year.
Yeah, they just chase them around.
Once again, at Oahe last year.
Okay.
Me, Schmitty, Chris Johnson, there was 5 or 6 of us on this one high place. It wasn't that big. And all we're doing, we're all scoping. None of us ever look up. And I see one, and I fire out there, and I hear, pow! And I look up, and I hit Schmitty's motor.
So you telling the movie's motor, you trying to throw it?
Get out of my way!
Did you damage his motor?
I
Oh,
don't
God,
know. I
they
said,
got me choked
my
up."
bad. I'm glad it was you.
Y'all weren't in the same cluster where Robertson was fishing in his underwear.
No.
Okay.
Oh, God.
We were like 25 miles from there.
Good. I was about 10 miles from there, so glad I wasn't a part of that either. All right.
That's pretty funny.
Let's talk about a couple things. Real quick, I do want to mention, just in reference to the BPT finale, kudos to KVD. We haven't talked about that. Congrats on his retirement, official retirement. I know he'll be back for Red Crest. And,
Red Crest and Heavy Hitters.
and the Heavy
next year.
Hitters tournament. But, you can't sit here and put into words what he's done for our sport.
No, it's been amazing.
I was
Kevin,
pulling for him so hard. Like, nothing against you, but I was pulling for him to win.
I was fishing against him and I was pulling for it. So, like, it's all good.
Hey, Kevin, come over here. I just found a wad, man. Just see if you can go in here and catch him. But, I've gotten to know Kevin a little bit with our Toyota relationship over the past few years, and he's a good guy. He's an unbelievable fisherman, obviously, but he's just done so much for our sport, and I think.
And he's a fierce competitor. That's
Yes.
what a lot of
Yes.
people don't understand. Which, well, I'm sure everybody does understand if they watched any of it live. But I mean, he still goes hard.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's out there ripping that jerkbait. I watched some of the live on the way home to give me something to do after the tournament was over. And I mean, it's impressive how hard
yeah.
he goes. Like, I don't even know if I could keep up with it.
Well, and it's it's unique to see somebody retire that's still somewhat at the top of their game.
Yeah, still in his prime. pretty
Correct.
much.
And I think that goes a lot into saying on who Kevin really is. He's wanting to help do a lot for the sport as a whole.
Right. I mean,
think,
he's got the KVD Foundation.
Yep,
He's got
him and Johnny have a big endeavor coming
Yes,
up, and
they've got a lot
some
of
stuff
stuff
they're
going
working
on.
together on. But kudos to you, Kevin. Congrats, man.
Yes. Let's round of applause.
Yeah. Deserves a lot more, but that's all we can do right
that's
here on
all we can do.
LTF. 7 million in
Jeff
winnings,
could go
Ryan
get us
said.
a bottle of his fine whiskey and we could toast it.
Yeah,
right
we could
quick.
toast with Jeff's bourbon. We could give him a
I gotta
toast.
get home
so.
with my baby boy though. You gonna give me an Uber ride home?
A toast, like a shot, no, not
Yeah,
like
just
17.
a sip,
you
not an hour's worth.
You realize a sip like puts me to sleep, right?
Well, we got beds around somewhere. You can lay down, take a nap, and then go home. All right. So, but yeah, congrats, Kevin. I know he will be missed in competition, but we understand and very, very humbled by what you brought to the sport. And I think I speak for all of us when I say you, Brian, New, Thrift, myself, along with all the other professional anglers out there that are still doing it, looked up to you our entire careers, and you're kind of the role model for us. So means a lot.
All fortunate to haven't got the chance to compete against him. Like that's because I mean, in honesty, where would anglers be if it wasn't Kevin taking the level of the game so high?
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, because you're forced to grow, or there's no way you're going to compete.
Correct.
And to have somebody like Kevin that constantly raised the bar, and everybody, is trying to catch up and get to his level, it made all of us better anglers.
Yep. And just for the record, I've only fished against Kevin in 2 tournaments,
Yeah.
and they were both Toyota Texas Bass Classics.
Yeah.
I finished lower than him in one and higher than him in the other, so I'm batting 500 against you, Kevin, in case you ever want to come back to Bass or something. No, I'm kidding. But anyway, all right, so let's talk about the Saginaw Bay tournament. I know it's a place that y'all had never been to.
No,
and,
it was so fun.
There was a lot that went down there. Obviously, going into the final today, there was a lot of reasons for us to tune in and watch that tournament just as fans in general and other anglers, because you had, KVD's last event, right?
Right.
You had a AOY shakeup that was controversial to say the least. If everybody's been following social media, some people complaining about Becker winning, some people aren't, about the whole Cayuga crap. But I'll be honest with you, from an outsider looking in that doesn't have anything to do with BPT, regardless of the Cayuga stuff, Becker fished a phenomenal tournament. And to do what he did at the end of the tournament, I was like, because I was sitting there, I was honestly thinking, going in the last day, I was like,
Kevin's got it. It's done.
The tournament.
Yeah.
And then I was like, Wheeler's got AOI, because Wheeler doesn't, he doesn't fall from 3rd to 8th. That's just not Wheeler,
exactly.
right? Or 7th, or wherever he ended up finishing. But when I looked at the scenario, I was trying to find the scenario online. I was like, all right, who has to finish where, and what's the point spread got to be?
Right.
And obviously, we're pulling for our buddy Thrift, right? But there's so many things
I was just
going
happy
on.
to be there. Honestly, I was just happy.
You're
to
always
be
happy
there.
to make a top 10. Anybody is. But it was really interesting how it shook out, and to watch that last day and to see what Becker did, and that was impressive, to say the least. It was an exciting ending. We're all lying if we say we weren't pulling for Kevin to win his last event.
Exactly.
Go out with a bang, but yeah, so very interesting finale. But tell us about Saginaw Bay.
So Saginaw Bay, first off, it was my favorite event of the year. I love going places I've never been before.
More than Norman?
I mean, I was looking more forward to Saginaw Bay than I was.
He's like
Norman.
me. He likes to go to new venues.
I love to
do
go
too.
somewhere for the first time and figure it out for the first time and just go do my thing. And everybody knew going into that event, smallmouth was going to win, most likely, 99% chance. Whoever finds a big smallmouth is going to win the event. I spent the first day of practice looking for smallmouth. Never got a bite from a smallmouth. I caught a drum and 2 walleyes. So
You keep them walleye?
No, I didn't.
God, we had a big old fish
Well, see,
fry up
me
at
and Luke crossed the room
Clair.
together, and we were staying at a hotel, so we didn't really have means to cook them.
Let me tell you
I guess
something.
we could have microwaved
If
them.
Canterbury can clean walleye on my Ranger boat, which is what he did until I walked out and found out what he was doing. This is on Scott Martin's
But y'all were
YouTube
probably
channel.
staying at a house and had a decent means to cook them.
Yeah, we
We
were
were
at
in
a
a
house. I don't know
hotel.
about
I mean,
decent means, but
We would have had to microwave, maybe throw a little butter and lemon juice, put them in the microwave.
walleye's good, man. It might even be good microwave, but yeah,
It
no, I
may be.
understand.
If anybody's got a good microwave walleye recipe, hit us up with
Send
it.
it in.
We'll try it
Send
out.
it in.
So anyway, I abandoned on the whole smallmouth deal after the first day of practice, and I was fortunate enough that Saginaw Bay kind of lined up with my favorite thing in the world to do, which is get out there and get on a flat and stare at that hummingbird side imaging for hours on end and see what I find. Just try to unlock some secrets. And I ended up finding 2 patches of grass that were way out in the middle of nowhere. I'm a mile and a half off the bank, and everybody's up there fishing reeds, just catching them at will. And I'm out here on my lonesome. I'm fishing 2 patches of grass about the size of this table we're sitting at. But the first patch of grass I find, when I idle by it, I see all these little dots sitting around it on that hummingbird side imaging, and I'm like, well, here we go. We've got one spot. I stood up, made 3 casts, caught 3, and didn't visit again until the first day of the tournament. So I ended up finding 2 patches of grass in 2 days of fishing that held a lot of fish, and that's what all my weight came off of. I caught all largemouth except for the final day. I did catch one stupid smallmouth, but
Why's he got to be stupid?
Because it's supposed to be a largemouth.
Was he in the grass patch with the largemouth?
He was.
Okay, well maybe he was stupid.
Hey,
See,
I do
exactly.
call them, when I catch largemouths when I'm striper fishing, I call them trash fish.
Yeah. So anyways,
have mercy.
I found those 2 patches of grass, and I caught all my fish cranking a BTC 60 crankbait from Demiki. That was hands down the best bait the first day, which is kind of odd. So see if y'all can tell me this. And I think I figured out the reason. So the very first day, it was slick calm. Like, I mean, no
sunny?
wind, slick calm, kind of cloudy. And they bit the Demiki crankbait, which is a little square bill, run about 4 feet. They bit it better than anything. Like, I caught a couple on a chatterbait, a couple on a Texas rig, things like that. But when I would get done throwing all those baits, I would pick up the crankbait and catch 3 or 4 more. And the rest of the tournament, when the wind was blowing, they never would bite the crankbait. It was all chatterbait fish. And the only thing I could figure is maybe those fish were sitting higher in the grass when it was slick calm. I mean, it's only like 5 feet deep anyway, 6 feet deep. But I guess that crankbait popping over the grass when it was slick calm, they were sitting up there and it was in their face and they would bite it. And then I was letting the chatterbait get down.
Get down in it?
Yeah, get down
So
in it
it's
a
funny
little bit.
because at St. Clair, I mean, I know totally different fishery, right?
Right.
But when it gets slick calm, those fish do this.
Yeah, they rise up.
Yep. So
Same thing with spotted
100%.
bass. Spotted bass do the same thing.
Yep.
So that's the only thing I can figure, but it still kind of struck me as odd because I've never seen largemouth do that before.
Right.
You see it a lot.
especially
with,
sitting in grass, right?
right. You see it a lot with smallmouth and spotted bass, but that's the first time I'd ever experienced it with largemouth in the gameplay.
Northern largemouth. Dude.
Northern
They're-
largemouth,
They're
yeah.
dumb. They're different.
Exactly.
I was watching you that last day, and like it looked
God,
like
you
it
must
was
have been bored.
Well,
I'm kidding.
me and Ryder were lay there.
I wasn't on there much, so you had to watch a long
I
time.
know.
to
I
see
watched a lot of that last day because there were so many different things playing out, and they didn't show my boy that
Well,
much.
your boy wasn't catching a lot of fish.
He wasn't. But when you did see him, he was snatching the whole time. I was like, boy, he's either throwing a really heavy chatterbait or it's
Well,
that's
see, so
really
what I
tall
was-
grass.
Yeah, what
So-
I was fishing was cabbage, and it was really tall. And it would bury up in one, and I would rip it out, and then it would immediately fall right back, like it would fall 2 feet and be back in it, and I'd rip it out again.
Yeah, so go back to your crankbait, chatterbait deal. I almost feel like my theory would be, you know, when it was windy and stuff, they just wasn't seeing the crankbait as good.
And that could be possible.
Because your chatterbait's
Water's
probably
relatively clear there, right? Like every
It was
northern lake.
staying that
was
last day for
the
sure.
last day. That's what killed my bite. So the 2 patches of grass I was fishing were great. Like the first day I caught 16 and a half pounds in a period and a half and quit fishing. Second day I caught 14 pounds in 2 hours, quit fishing because I knew I had enough to make the knockout round. And the knockout round, I fished around trying to find some new stuff and then went to the good patch of grass in the second period, caught 16 pounds in 20 minutes. And then that east wind got me. So I practiced with that intent. I knew that if I made the championship round, I was going to be in trouble. But the first few days of the tournament, the wind was supposed to be light and variable or be north-northeast. So I practiced my time on that west side of the lake where I would be protected for the first couple of days to kind of ensure that I make that knockout round cut. You know, if I spend my time over here, I'm going to have 2 good days of fishing, have a better chance of getting paid, making that top 20 cut, getting to the knockout round. And, you know, if I'm fortunate enough to make it to the championship round, I'll just wing it and see how things go. So I knew I was on borrowed time going into that championship round when that wind switched from the northwest to straight east at, I don't know, 15 to 20 mile an hour and 5 inches of rain. So I get out there on the championship round, and I'm determined I'm going to fish my grass patch. Doesn't matter what the weather's doing. If I can get the boat out there safely, I'm going to fish it. So I get out there that first day or that last day, and first thing that morning, It takes me about an hour and a half, but I finally catch a 3.5 pound smallmouth. So that tells me like, hey, it is still possible. You know, the visibility in the water is, you know, went to trash. I can see that chatterbait about 6 to 8 inches deep. There's 3-footers rolling across it. I'm taking waves over the bow occasionally, but I ended up getting 3 bites out there, and they were all over 3 pounds. But I wasn't able to generate enough bites to, you know, get that good bag, that 16 to 17 pound bag that I needed. I ended up bailing on it halfway through the second period and going to flip reeds, and ended up filling out my limit, and, you know, ended up the tournament in 9th place. But I wouldn't change anything I did. Like, everything went according to the plan I had, and, you know, it ended up a great tournament. Anytime you can end the year with the top 10,
yeah.
that's a plus.
Absolutely.
I'm a little disappointed though in you, because did you not try the BBC?
Man, Luke Clausen said the same thing, and I didn't even think about it. That's
Wait
what
a
I
minute.
said.
Tell them what y'all talking about now.
The BBC.
The big blade chatterbait.
Okay.
So-
Wait, you didn't even try it?
It didn't even cross my mind. I was so mad at myself when I come in. Luke called. He's like, "Man, did you try the big blade chatterbait?" And I was like, "Dang it! Why'd you have to say that?" So then I'm mad.
That's what happens when you have too much to choose from, Tyler. You got too much tackle, too many rods, too many reels,
Yeah.
and you forget about
And
half the stuff
had-
you
I
got
did
to
the
throw.
same thing at third day at St. Clair.
Yeah, I had one tied on in the box.
So back to a comment I saw from, let's see here, from Steve. He said, "I can't believe you guys stayed in that dump." So we got a couple. So clarify this for me. You got a couple bass fishing millionaires, and you go up to Saginaw Bay, a new venue. And where in the world did y'all stay?
Man, I thought we were in a decent place. We were at the Hampton Inn.
Oh, you were in the Hampton Inn.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's not that big of a dump.
No, it was
I
nice.
thought you were like in Fred's motel.
And there
or
was a
something
bunch
like
of it. So myself, Luke, Brandon Coulter, Jordan Lee, Fred Rambanis,
Okay.
John Hunter,
So it wasn't a dump. It was a Hampton Inn.
KVD was there the last. He was there after the first day, and there was like 8 or 10 of us staying there.
Okay. Well,
So
when he
I
said dump,
thought it
I
was
had to
pretty
ask.
nice.
I had,
So do we tell everybody the secret about behind the BBC?
oh, is he talking about me?
What is
Maybe he
it?
is
I don't
talking
even
about
know if I
Like,
know.
everybody thinks it's all
He
about
probably is
because
talking
it
about me.
thumps so hard. But to me, that's not what it makes it great. It's how slow you can fish. It's what makes it great.
Yeah, so that's what makes it so good in dirty water is you can wind that big blade chatterbait so slow. But after Luke asked me why I didn't throw it, and it dawned on him
didn't have
that
an answer.
I didn't think of it. I was kind of mad because y'all probably thinking back, I'm like, you know, what could have been if I hadn't been an idiot.
They might not have touched it.
I feel like you would have definitely got you a couple bites.
That's-
I'm not
that's
gonna
what
lie.
I
Thrift,
think.
my apologies.
What happened?
That was directed towards me, not you.
Oh, y'all were in a dump. Ah!
Hey, no. Let me explain. Okay. So from the outside, you
If that was a dump, y'all stay in. Maybe you lie.
Hold
I
on
seen
a
y'all
second.
part.
Back up. So if you watch any of our travel vlog, or Scott just launched the practice video also on Scott's YouTube channel. Okay, what it is, it's an old service station, like a brick. I think it was a service station. It's like just a rundown brick building from the
Yeah.
outside. It looks awful from the outside. It looks terrible. You go in and you go up these stairs, and there's a door on the left and a door in front of you. And there's 2 apartments that have been completely renovated.
Right.
One has 3 bedrooms. The other one has 1 bedroom, kitchen, full kitchens, like furniture, like really nice. Like the guy who owns them is like a real estate agent up there.
Yeah.
And he took this old service station and made them into rental places. And the boat
That's pretty cool,
The
actually.
boat parking was like phenomenal.
Right.
He had drop cords run for us. It was actually really, really nice.
Dude, that's
the
a-
outside
that's a-
looked horrendous. And we have
Right.
stayed in a place just like this at Oahe. If anybody's watched our travel vlog from Oahe, that place was an absolute disaster from the outside. And when you walked in, it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
So,
When I drove by and seen y'all's trucks there, I was like, dang, you dumb. Are they like turning into meth heads or
we
what?
we squatting in a gas station. Yeah.
So I stayed in a speakeasy.
A what?
A speakeasy. You don't know what a speakeasy is? You need
Do
to
you
go back
know,
to
Thrift?
history
I'm
class.
drawing a blank as well.
Yeah, I'm
Elaborate,
out.
no. Elaborate.
A speak speak easy. Okay.
So back in the Prohibition days, they had speakeasies
I
where
wasn't
they
alive
would
then.
Oh, yeah.
they would
I know
have
what
the
you're talking about
bootleg
now.
liquor and everything and party and everything when they couldn't do it legally.
So you were partying and bootlegging up there?
I wasn't, but it used to be. A
Okay.
speakeasy.
Oh, that's what it used to be. Okay, I got you. I got you. All right. Well, interesting.
You
Learn
didn't hear
something
that
new every
story
day.
about it?
No.
All right, let's talk about real quick, just because there's so much drama surrounding it on social media lately. Becker winning the AOY, people coming out of the closet and yelling about, hey, they should have been punished for the Cayuga stuff he did and this, that, and the other. And here, I'll give you my 2 cents on it because, I know Sheffield, everybody knows now that he got punished for what he did, which was hooking bass out, or excuse me.
Yeah, no, I think not presenting them
Not
to the
presenting
official.
it was hooked correctly, which is clearly written in the rules.
Right.
Becker, on the other hand, had caught this same fish twice.
Right.
Second time was not visually looking at the bass.
Right.
Per MLF rules, BPT rules, correct me if I'm wrong, that is technically
Within the rules.
within the rules.
Yes, it's definitely within the rules.
We have Thrift here to verify that. And that was my thoughts.
Right.
So,
And that rule has since been rewritten.
Yes,
I know
rewritten.
MLF, they did a release, a couple weeks back, with the way the new rule reads. So that will not be an issue in the coming events
So
that
you could-
involve spawning bass.
you could put that to bed at this point. Becker, on the other hand, I had heard that he had, obviously felt bad about what happened and
Right.
tried to kind of come forward, and certain things got squashed for whatever reasons. But Becker, I don't know Matt personally, but he seems like obviously a phenomenal fisherman, a pretty stand-up guy. Kudos to him for doing what he did in the last event, because that was a tall task to climb.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
he put on a clinic that last
Yeah,
day, buddy.
yeah, that
I
was
mean, two great
phenomenal.
years. I mean, qualifying for the BPT last year and then getting there this year as a
Oh,
rookie.
so he was a rookie this year. I forgot
yeah,
about that.
this was his rookie year.
So his rookie year. So has that dumb question? We should know this. One of y'all probably do. I don't. Tyler might even know. Has a rookie ever won Angler of the Year before?
I don't know. And see, Becker, I don't know how they qualify a true rookie, because he has participated and fished FLW and the MLF Invitationals for a couple of years. So is he a true rookie?
Well,
You
I don't know.
It was his rookie
It
season.
It depends on
the
how
back.
BPT. But
Yeah.
is he?
Yes.
Y'all have a Rookie of the Year deal, right?
I don't know if we do.
Y'all may not even have a Rookie of the Year.
I don't know
deal.
if we do.
I've never heard of it.
I don't
So,
think I have
like,
either.
I feel like if you fish professionally, because if you fished FLW or what's it called?
Right. The MLF.
Invitationals now.
Yeah, if you fished that, like, you're a pro. I don't consider you a rookie anymore.
No.
Now, Bass's rules, which I had never fished truly professional level. When I come in, it was if you had 500,000 in earnings
You weren't
between
eligible for
FLW and
rookie.
Bass combined, you wasn't a rookie.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Which I think that's
the
correct. That's a good way-
$500,000 mark. Like if you hit
Like
earned
whether
five-
you had fished FLW or anything before.
Yeah. If you had 500,000 in career earnings,
Correct.
you weren't considered a
Yep.
rookie. You
Okay.
weren't
So they-
eligible for
yeah.
Rookie of the Year.
So that's interesting. Chuck Fish said he thinks Takahiro won an FLW
Oh, yeah.
AOY as a rookie. So that's interesting. We'll have to look that up, because I didn't
Yeah,
know it had
that's
ever
pretty
been done
cool.
before.
M. Jones made a good point. Technically, the first year of the BPT, they were all rookies.
Yeah, well, okay, all right. If you want to argue that, guy's got $1 million in earnings, but he's a rookie. Okay, he also said technically good, but ethical, not in my opinion. Well, see,
Discussing the
yeah, here's the thing. Like, if it's within the rules, you can scream ethics all you want, but if you're out there competing to make a living and you know all your competitors are probably doing the same thing,
And
why
it's-
wouldn't you? do
yeah,
it?
it's a
As long as you're not breaking a rule.
Right.
Right.
Correct.
I mean-
as long as you're not blatantly breaking a rule. I get both sides of that. 100% I get both sides of that. But again, that has been addressed. It has been rewritten.
yeah. We're not going to see that again. It's going to be cut and dried now.
Yeah.
Which that's a problem that I don't think the higher ups at MLF foresaw happening. It's hard to change a rule when you don't know what's happening if nothing's ever arose from it. I mean, you go back in the history of professional
You learn
fishing.
through experience better than you do anything
Yes,
else.
exactly. I mean, you go back in the history of the sport. I mean, there's been a lot of rules written because of, anglers that are, not really pushing the limits, but they're playing within the rules. But you don't realize the rules needed until it comes up. I mean, I'm sure back in the day I've heard a lot of people say Roland Martin pioneered a lot of rule changes. I mean,
That's what Chuck
The
said.
comment just came through literally when you said that.
there we go. There we go.
So Wheeler's, he's guilty of creating a few
Right.
rules
I mean,
himself.
I've even heard of the instance back in the I don't know what event. It was a bass event where they would tell the anglers their blast off order before practice started, and David Dudley
I
went,
remember this,
went
yeah.
and caught a lot of fish off the bed during practice, and people got mad about it. But that pioneered the rule change. They quit doing that because of that.
I see. I'm all for that. Like,
Yeah, I mean, you don't.
I would have
know
done the
you-
same thing as
Yeah,
defense.
You don't know you need to change a rule or create a rule until something
Yeah.
requires it.
Yeah, and Jones, we talk about that all the time about, people scream this, they use this term cheater and they throw it around all the time. So
Right.
here's the thing about that. Like, Brian New goes and puts fish in a basket and he takes them out of the basket and he weighs them in. Okay, that is blatant,
Yeah.
like cheating, disregard for all the other anglers. Like, that is, stealing.
Right.
Guy forgets to put his hooky kill switch up and he runs across the lake. That's a whole different level. Okay.
Right.
So same thing. I agree with you. He said, I personally have no problem with Becker, but the Spencer deal I do. Okay. I'm in the same boat with you because,
And that's the reason that I believe MLF, the only punishment levied was for Spencer.
correct. Yep. Different. It was a different rule. It was written differently. It was broken differently or not broken, whichever way you want to look at it.
Right.
So that is, I totally agree with you on that subject. I think it was, as far as Spencer being punished and, Becker not being punished, I think that was technically the right thing to do. Technically.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, that's why it took MLF so long. Like, they wanted to make sure they had everything right. And I think that what they did was correct. You can't jump to conclusions and, make hasty decisions because you don't know if you're going to get it right, and then you find yourself in litigation and lawsuits and all this. I mean, it's just like the legal system everywhere in the country. Like, you've got to prove they're guilty. You're innocent until proven guilty, and it's pretty much follows the same thing here. I mean, they spent a lot of time reviewing footage, doing polygraphs, questioning. They did their homework, and I feel like what they did was the right thing.
So as far as you're concerned, or to your knowledge, there's still not an ongoing investigation about anything concerning the last couple of tournaments.
Not that I know of, but obviously I'm not in the loop. I mean,
Right.
there may be something going on, there may not be. I don't know. Doesn't concern me.
Okay, Ryan, to answer your question, Ryan's asked me a couple times if I have any big deer on camera. He says I'm not saying anything because I must have big deer on camera, but I will honestly sit here and say I've got one of the better years I've had in the past 3 or 4 years. So now that doesn't mean I'm going to go out and kill a big deer, but I'm excited about the bow season opener coming September 9th.
Can I say what you
I even
told-
wore my Real Tree hat tonight, in celebration
Can I
of
say what you told me before the show started
bow season coming in. What?
about what you said about your deer season this year?
What did I say?
So
did he say?
Matt said he's going to shoot one and just sit in the stand to see if another one comes in so he can tag out the first day. That's how many big deer he's got.
Well, Carolina standards are a little different than like Midwest standards. Y'all have to remember we have to shoot them based on age, not inches, because a 5-year-old deer here might barely make Pope and Young. But that being said, I've got like
He's going to try to tag out first day. He's got a lot of big deer.
I've got like 3 big shooters coming into one stand right now, and then I've got a couple others that I've found. But I've had some cameras out now for about a month, and it's been we got a good crop this year. What I'm more excited about is the turkey poults that I've seen over the past month.
I've seen a lot of small turkeys.
I've seen a better
Yeah.
hatch this year in our general area right here in Cleveland County, Rutherford County, than I've seen in years. Now,
Yeah.
we're not going to sit here and talk about turkey hunting either, don't worry. But I got pictures of like baby turkeys running around. And,
All right, boys.
And some.
All right,
Sorry, I
settle
forgot
down.
Neil was here. I got to stop.
You're getting scolded. We're talking about
All
hunting.
right. He said, Gary actually said sours go away. They're talking about hunting.
Yeah.
Don't get off. Don't chase the rabbits down the hole, Matt. Okay. All right. We'll
I'll make a deal with you. We'll give you like a 30-minute hunting segment in the late fall. After you tag out. Once you tag out, we'll have a 30-minute
I have to
hunting.
tag out and I get a 30
You have to
minute
tag
hunt.
out.
So half the show.
Do the fans and the viewers agree? If Matt tags out, we'll give him 30 minutes.
In the first day. He has to tag out the first day.
What?
If he
Tag
tags
one
out
day?
the first day, we'll give him a whole show.
Okay.
Well, y'all won't even show up though, if you give a whole show.
I will. I want to hear the stories too.
Thrift likes to hunt.
Hey, I got
Don't
some
we?
land now. I might start hunting.
But you do.
I got. Well,
Keep
I'm just
saying
gonna put a
negative.
corn
No
pile
deer
in my
hunt.
backyard.
All right, Matt, you're getting voted out. So.
Ryan, I 100% cannot do that. You know better than that. I would love to. He said that earlier. I think he might have actually made the comment on our Facebook page.
I seen it earlier.
He said, "Can I trade can I give him the answer to tonight's trivia question for a Michigan turkey hunt?" Now, first of all, for the record, I'm gonna say this right now. I have not spoken to Ryan or given him the answer. If he happens to win the trivia tonight, and I'm still not getting a turkey hunt. So just in my defense, I'm gonna go ahead and set the record straight right now. All right, we'll. Let's see. It's 7:57. Y'all got anything to add? We covered a lot in an hour. So
We have. It's been a good show. I guess. So y'all are fixing to leave for back-to-back northern events. When are y'all leaving?
Saturday.
Saturday.
Practice
So you got
starts next
Champlain,
Monday.
St. Lawrence River back-to-back, and then that wraps up your season.
Yeah.
that wraps up our season. So
I got to open in October, but
Yeah.
I'm ready to be home and not have to leave my baby boy.
There you go. There you
Yeah,
go.
I know. This is gonna be the toughest two tournaments you've ever fished.
Yeah, it is. But if everything goes right, it's Braylon's first. What does suck is I'm gonna miss Braylon's first volleyball tournament. Or
Oh, goodness.
not tournament, but game, Monday. And then, if everything goes good, they're gonna come up later in the week to Champlain.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Brittany's gonna pack that newborn up and Braylon and roll on up. Is she gonna bring
She's
anybody
an
with her?
OG also.
They're going to fly up, or you going to make
No,
them
they're
drive?
gonna drive.
Oh, let them fly. No, good gracious.
Is anybody
Poor people
coming with
got
them?
poor ways. I think it's just them three.
More power to
Let them
Brittany.
fly.
Hey,
no.
Super mom.
Hey, you got to be strong to put up with me, son.
Well, I'm not gonna disagree with that statement.
Brittany, get you a plane ticket.
Yeah, Brittany, go ahead and book it.
Just get you a plane
We
ticket.
bought a house. We
It
got a
don't matter.
baby.
You catching fish.
I
Pay for it.
wasn't catching fish. I might not catch fish again.
Oh, you're good. You're golden now. All right,
But
Dave,
no-
real quick, we got 2 minutes. So this is just a cool little story about the house that y'all just recently purchased.
Oh, yeah. This is a good story.
And how just try to make it 2 minutes. But tell the story real quick about whose house you just recently purchased, the location.
Yep.
You don't have to give your address or nothing like that. Don't worry.
Okay, good.
just the previous owner. Dive
just
into
tell
that a
just
little
tell them
bit.
how this came about.
So, I knew we've been looking for, Brittany's been looking for a house for a while. I knew we needed one. I cared nothing about paying for one, but knew we needed one. So she'd send me a link every now and again, and I pretty much never opened them. Well, I was at Green Pond Landing with Yamaha working a little meet and greet deal for the college tournament a while back. She sent me a link that morning. I'm just sitting there, and I look at it, and like everything was I was pretty happy with what the land, the shop, the house, the price.
Hitting every
the location.
checking every box you wanted.
Yeah, it's the first one that she's ever sent me that caught my attention. Well, that evening, me, Davey Height, and our bosses from Yamaha go to dinner. Davey gets a phone call. Once he gets off, he's just talking like we are. So that was my real estate agent. I put my dad's house up for sale, and really didn't want to sell it, but it's like, what am I going to do with it? And he said it's an awesome place. It's close to the lake. 17 acres, big shop, this and that. I said, hold on a minute. I know where you're from. I said, there's too much in common. I pulled my phone out, and sure enough, that was it. So I wound up buying Davey Height's father's house from Davey Height.
That's pretty cool.
And it's crazy that it worked out the way that it did. Our real estate agent, which obviously was his as well, we go to church with. Brittany grew up with her son, has known the family her whole life, and Davey has as well. It's kind of crazy that it happened the way that it did. And I mean, honestly, it's pretty much our dream house. The location's awesome, and I got a big shop.
That's awesome.
And
So
a fair amount of land.
Brittany, I'm just going to throw this out there. I looked at the house and the shop, and New was talking about how big the shop was, and he was actually showing me like the square footage of the shop, and we scaled it on his phone and stuff. And the fact that the shop is bigger than the house that he bought you and the kids,
not bigger.
I feel like you
Close.
need to go ahead and claim 50% of that shop and make it part of the house,
Yeah.
and just he only
Put
needs
you a
50%
hot
of that
tub
shop.
out
Yeah, get you a
there.
hot tub,
Yeah.
maybe an indoor pool, I mean indoor
Ooh,
pickleball
indoor
court. I
pool.
mean that's kind of trending lately, but
No, you just took it too far. You just took it too far.
big
All right,
good-
let's
big
get
good-
on to the trivia
it'd be
question
good
now.
fitness for new. All right, maybe no pickleball court. But
I told her she can
indoor.
do whatever she wants inside the house. The yard and the shop are mine.
Okay.
I was a landscaper pretty much my whole life till I went to
Yep.
Sotheby Pavement
New helped
Marketing.
me do my landscape.
I did. And a sod.
And, oh, you're the sod too, huh?
Yeah.
Yep.
A she shed. That's right. A she
Hey,
shed.
hey, we do have a chicken coop also. I didn't show you that. That's
what?
gonna- A chicken coop. It was a chicken coop, but it's going to be a she shed now.
What are you going to do with a chicken coop?
It's going to
Now,
be the
you
she
can't
shed.
put a she shed on
Hey,
top
it
of a
was
chicken
Brittany's
coop.
idea.
Wait a minute. What's a she shed on top of a chicken coop going to look
The
like?
chicken coop, I'll show you a picture of it.
What you
later
got to
on
do is you
Google
got to
Earth.
move the she
It was
shed.
big. I mean, it's like a little.
But you got to plant a garden where the chicken coop. That's what you do.
It's
so we
already
do have a
fertilized.
good place for a garden.
Exactly. We did that
Some of the most
3
fertile
years
ground
ago
ever.
at my mother and father-in-law's. They had a chicken coop and something got in
Well,
and
see,
got
it's
all
out
the
in the
chickens.
woods.
Like in 2 days, ate 12 chickens. But we ended up moving the chicken coop and planted a garden right there. And you talk about, we had like 4 squash plants, and it's the most squash I've ever seen in my life.
I don't know if I want to eat chicken poop squash.
That's
all
what
right.
you're eating if you eat squash.
I do have to
Pete
buy.
said, okay, we're at 4 minutes. Time for the trivia. All right. If anybody forgot, we're up to 136 viewers, which is pretty good. Pretty good. I figured
Yeah.
we'd get a few more, given that we're going to throw out a $300
Yeah,
Costa
throw out a
gift
brand
card.
new
But
$300 gift card.
yeah,
to
more
Costa.
power to the ones that tuned in tonight. So we got a trivia question. All right, again, is sponsored by Costa. Costa, who recently won ICAST with the launch of their new King Tides. Costa, who is been a
40
long-
years, celebrating a 40
years, yeah.
anniversary of Costa sunglasses.
longtime sponsor of Thrift and myself. We've worn them since we were I've worn them since middle school.
Yeah, I've worn them since I knew I needed sunglasses.
I wasn't sponsored by them in
Yeah,
middle school,
not me either. Me neither.
but I've always worn Costas because they're the deal. I mean, short and sweet. They are the best sunglasses on
Yes.
the market. They're the #1 brand on the market. They do more and they give back more
Yeah, they give back more
for our
everything with
sport than any other company out there.
the
So,
conservation. They do more conservation than any.
and they pay you
You over
to
there
fish now.
DMing Ryan?
The Costa Compete and Conserve program. So if you're not
Yes.
familiar with that,
Yeah.
go online and check out the Costa Compete and Conserve. You can win a lot of contingency bucks through that program also. All right, here we go.
Here we go. Trivia
$300
question.
in Costa merchandise of your choice. The trivia question tonight does relate to Mr. New and his newborn, Mr. Michael Ryder.
New.
I hate to say it. New. Michael Ryder.
I said
New.
it so you wouldn't have to.
They're going to
I can
call
tell
him
you're struggling.
Ryder, which I like. And
I do like that.
Again, congrats on the new baby boy, but I need to know in pounds and ounces the weight of Ryder when he was born.
The birth weight of baby new.
The birth weight of baby New when
So
he was born.
right after he was born and everything. Wow.
We got him
They're
rolling
they're
through.
rolling.
It's rolling.
Y'all keep
It's
an
So
eye
I'm
out.
gonna
Keep an eye
tell
out.
this while I'm looking.
First one that we see come through our feed is the only one that matters. So
That is
Somebody,
exactly right.
I don't remember who brought it up, but somebody brought a balloon up and said, "Congrats on baby new." I was like, "Where did you get that custom made balloon at?"
96,000 in
That's a
08.
lot. He
That'd be
I
big
mean,
baby.
he
Big
wasn't
baby.
that big.
I don't have one yet, but I've got some close ones.
I've got-
Did y'all
Obviously.
even hear what I said?
Honestly, we got some close
I didn't
ones.
hear what you said because I'm looking at the
I'm
feed
trying to
so I
follow
don't
the
miss
answers,
it.
New.
Somebody brings up a balloon that said, "Congrats on baby new."
Woo, I see
Or
some close
on the
ones.
new baby.
Is that one it?
On
no,
the new
I haven't
baby.
seen it.
No.
Oh, good.
I don't know.
God.
That's close. Oh my God!
How is that happening?
They're coming through so fast I can't see. Y'all keep an eye out. Tyler, you know the answer. Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
Tyler knows the answer.
I've never seen nothing like this.
Whoa, whoa! I think I saw it. No, I didn't see it.
I mean, they're like,
I've seen answers come through quick on our trivia.
So what?
But
Let's
not this
go.
fast.
it's got to be.
We're gonna
on
let it
there.
go for another few seconds, and then we're gonna have to get
Gosh.
the format of it, like to make sure we're doing it right.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, that was a close one.
You did say pounds and ounces, though.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
that's true.
seeing some that are not pounds and ounces.
I am too. I'm seeing
Just for the record,
03. Like,
everybody.
all right, y'all, pounds and ounces, not 03. It's got to be like 6 even or like 7-5, like, you know, not, goodness gracious alive. This is hurting my eyeballs, y'all.
Yeah, I can't.
I can't keep up with them.
I don't know how they
I
haven't
have not
got
seen it. Nobody else has seen it,
I
right?
haven't
I've
either.
seen some that's like right there.
I mean, there's a good chance that somebody's done it, but they're going by so
no, I
fast.
hadn't. I'm staying on par with it. I've seen all that.
I'm
I'd like for
watching
you
it
to
as
see
hard
how
as I can.
fast
I got to take
mine
a
is
sip of
going.
water. I'm starting to sweat watching this stuff.
Yeah. Come on, boys
Type
and girls.
faster, boy. $300 for Costa
He was not.
products.
He
up
was
for
not a
grabs.
preemie, so he wasn't 3 or 4 pounds. I'll tell you that.
No,
He did. We did have him a couple. Well, he was due on the 7th. We had him on the 31st.
Probably a good thing.
Yeah, that's what Brittany said. I did realize.
Did you do the breathing with her? No.
I did. I held her leg back and counted and looked around the corner because I
Did
was
you?
curious the whole time. Oh,
you got it.
maybe I don't know. It went away.
Well, you can scroll back. You
I'm
can, you can
trying,
grab
but
and
it's
scroll
not-
back. Just make sure it wasn't right. If we
I
miss
don't
somebody
know.
on this, we're gonna get
Ooh,
yelled at
I'm
all
sorry,
day
boys
long.
and
You got
girls.
one? Oh, I see one too. I got a. Gosh darn, I can't get back to it. I got that one right there.
I wonder if everybody else is seeing how fast this is going on.
Oh,
mine.
I don't have that one. I had. Oh, okay. So I had that one, but I didn't see that one. So that's the winner. Yep. All right, Smith Harden is the winner. It was 9 pounds even. 9 pounds even. You didn't have to put 9.0, just 9. He put 9 on his answer. He was right before a couple other, well, at least one other 9
9.0s,
evens. Yeah,
yeah.
9.0. I saw a 9.0, which was correct too, but it was after Smith Harden, right?
Yep.
Brian? Smith Harden, you are the winner of tonight's trivia, which is cool because I don't recognize that name, and I love it when we have a new trivia winner. You have won a $300 Costa card, Costa gift code, excuse me, to use on the Costa's website for up to $300 in merchandise. You can use it on sunglasses, apparel, hats, whatever you want to use it on. So send us a message on our Facebook page, Let's Talk Fish Facebook page. Be sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, but send us a message on our Facebook page. And not the group page, but the regular LTF Facebook page. Send us a message with your information. I'll shoot you back the code, and you'll be ready to go. So, congratulations to Smith.
Congrats.
And again,
Congratulations.
I hope Smith heard us. Give us a thumbs up. Let us know you heard us. But I think the sound and everything's still good. So as long
My
as
eyes ain't. I can barely see you after looking at that.
do what, Tyler?
Says he's marshaled with you at Winyah.
Oh, he was my marshal at Winyah?
Oh, that was a while back.
Okay, yeah.
Or-
Oh, looky there. That's pretty cool.
2019, I believe. Marshall
Yeah.
with you at Winyah. Thanks, guys. That is pretty cool.
That is pretty neat, right
we
there.
did, and we didn't set this up. Like we didn't. This is not rigged. But congratulations, Smith. And
Yes.
we'll get that
Make
to
sure
you
you
ASAP.
check out the new frames, the King Tides. They,
Yeah, the King
they
Tides.
are the most comfortable frames I've ever worn.
Very
from
cool.
Costa.
If you're a fisherman, you'll appreciate the
Yeah.
R&D that went into.
It's like it hugs your face. It's like,
And if you wear a
it blocks
flat,
all the light.
right, yeah,
I
it's
mean that's the
amazing.
thing.
Like,
if you
and
wear
I-
a
and
flat
I-
bill with it, you can be a thug.
that's true. Now you can't. You got to have the limited edition gold ones.
Oh,
you can't
okay.
do that with the regular ones.
Okay, never mind. Sorry.
So I didn't get in on that deal. Obviously, I heard them offer it, but I didn't get in on that deal, and I hate that I didn't now.
Yeah,
'Cause,
I think I've got number 13 of 40.
I mean,
think.
if they look good on you, they must look amazing on me. So
I think y'all both done this deal.
is that right? Is that right? No, you wear Costas, don't you?
Sometimes. I mean, I've got a couple different. I've got
You bounce
loopholes,
around,
Costa.
huh? Okay, I
Yeah.
got you. I got
Yeah.
you. So, all right. So, congratulations, Smith. Again, thanks for everybody tuning in tonight. It was nice to be back in the studio. We've been traveling so much.
Yes, it was. And I guess it'll be
A couple weeks.
yeah, a couple weeks from now we'll do our next show. I know y'all have got 2 Elites events back to back, and
God,
I've
that's
actually
gonna
got
be
an
fun.
event next week too.
Okay. What do you have next week?
I'm fishing the Pirates Cove Billfish
Oh
tournament.
my gosh.
Ooh.
Yep.
That's
I
right.
know what goes on at them billfish tournaments. Y'all ain't gonna be doing
Bringing
no
out the
fishing.
pappy.
I've
yeah,
seen
we are.
videos.
We serious.
We serious.
we
Yeah,
serious.
You
We-
might be serious. I
I'm
don't know about the
serious.
crew that you travel with is very
Yes,
serious.
I don't travel with no riffraff.
Boys, I can tell you what.
JT and that crew.
Nah, JT's not doing this one.
Oh, okay. All right.
But JT's not riffraff.
I didn't say he was.
JT's serious. We try and catch a big blue marlin.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I hope y'all catch a winner. Hey,
do
what's
too.
that thing pay? What is it?
I don't know, but it's a lot more than a bass tournament pay.
Is it?
It's gotta be, because the entry fee's a lot more.
I gonna say the boat costs a lot. The boat probably
Yeah,
costs
the
more
boats
than the
cost
entry,
a lot more.
than
The
what
entry
first
fee
place
costs a lot
pays.
more.
I know this for a fact. Like if you win the Big Rock, which is a huge big marlin deal,
Oh, yeah.
and you win like $1.5 million or something like that.
Yeah.
The boats are fishing out over like 8 times more than.
Yeah, the boats are like 4 to 6.
Yeah,
7 million.
yeah, $4 to $6 million.
Yeah.
Roughly, give or take a little bit. But again, thank y'all. Hey, I'm gonna give you a little teaser here, okay? Costa has been a longtime supporter of Brian and I's for years and years and years.
Yes.
Great company, take good care of their customers. They make a great product, and they have not shot us one trivia giveaway code, but they've shot us a couple more. So on
We
the
got
next,
more coming down the
on
line.
the next, maybe not the next, but possibly.
We got to spread them out.
Yeah, we're going to spread them out a little bit. We got good giveaways every show, but we got a couple more Costa codes coming at you, good for up to $300 in Costa merchandise. So shout out to Costa again. Shout out to English Choice for presenting this this show, LTF. Again, if you get a chance, tune in live, subscribe to our channel on YouTube. But also, we passed 500,000 downloads on our podcast downloads. That's correct, right, Jeff?
Affirmative.
We have surpassed 500,000 downloads on our podcast. So
What's that mean?
that means we've had more than 500,000
At
downloads
least
on our podcast platforms.
500,000 or more.
I don't understand how
But does
else
it
we-
mean anything other than
how else can we put that?
Crunch some numbers, Jeff.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
all
over
right.
500,000 downloads on our podcast platform. So thanks to y'all for that. Again, when we knew, thank you, by the way.
Absolutely, absolutely. You
I
had to
like
pull some
that.
strings to get me away from my baby boy
Well,
and my baby girl. I love my
I
baby girl
dangled
too.
a
She's
rod
just not a
coffin
baby.
carrot in front of you.
Well, you did. You did. Yeah.
Appreciate you being here
But
for real.
your carrot was expensive.
Come on, man.
I don't even know what y'all talking about.
He bought my rod coffin from me.
Yeah, I
And-
seen it out there.
And they're like $2,000 if you buy one brand new. And I let him
Hey,
have it
easy. I
for
might want to make a return. Easy.
I let him have it for $900, and he's complaining.
Yeah, but you got it for free. I want you to
No, I did not.
Jeff found it on the side of the road and gave it to
Rod
you 2
Coffin
years
on
ago.
Instagram. I think the guy's name is Rodney. Check him out. Give him a call. Ask him if Metairie got his for free, and I promise you, he'll tell you absolutely not. So,
Oh, goodness.
all right. Again, thank y'all for tuning in. We can't go fishing. We'll sit here on Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live and talk fish.
Live, main point.